Hello, everybody. It is the Sad Boy here to hopefully make your day a little bit brighter. For this video, I decided to do like a small little bonus video because I kind of feel bad for, kind of vanishing into thin air for a little bit. I kind of got caught up with work and all that. But I am back, and I do promise that, this series isn't going anywhere. I do fully intend on seeing this entire series through. It might just take me a little bit because, you know, I do work as well, and sometimes life just gets in the way. But anyway, enough of that. So about the build, it kind of went through a process where I was kind of hopping between one idea and the next. Like originally, the Cave of Trials was actually going to be four different caves in general, and each of them obviously representing an element. But I was like, you know what? I kind of don't want to do that. I feel like I don't have enough lots in order to do that with, and I really don't want to like go all the way out to Oasis Springs and so on. I kind of want to keep it in Sulani. So the Cave of Trials just became, one cave with four different rooms. And right now it's still on. I mean, I'm still having the thought of, making it multi-layered, well, multi-floored, I should say, but it didn't go too well either. I did try to make like a gap in the ceiling, well, an opening in the ceiling, I should say, but I couldn't quite figure it out, and it really bothered me, and it kind of put a damper on things. I won't lie, because I really wanted there to be like an opening for the room that was supposed to represent air, but eventually I kind of just settled on just making the four rooms as you've seen it in the previous video. But yeah, I did play around with different things. I kind of honestly forgot what items were in my folder. Like I forgot which build and buy stuff I had. But although I will admit that these crystals right here really helped me out. They made the entire process so much easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do look a little iffy. And I mean, the textures could be a bit better, but this is also coming from somebody who, plays Skyrim fully modded and decked out with, the top tier, texture mods. I haven't played with this force field kind of thing because it kind of gave like a really cool watery effect, but, that idea quickly went out the window because I was like, yeah, that's not quite, I mean, that's not quite what I was wanting to go for. Eventually, I kind of settled on the waterfall things, the waterfall fountain things that I think come from Get to Work or Dine Out. I could be very wrong on both accounts. So, but yeah, this is where I finally gave up on the multi-floored look. I was just like, yeah, it's not quite what I wanted, so we'll just just stick to one floor and just do it that way. And I'm really glad I did. Also, these plumb bob lanterns. I actually learned this trick from a friend of mine. I mean, I'm sure multiple people have used this trick, but the person I learned it from was my friend Tommy Lynn, who's also a YouTuber. Wonderful, wonderful girl. Yeah, if I could actually talk properly, that'd be nice. But yeah, she's a wonderful person. She's honestly the sweetest person I've ever met. Back whenever I actually streamed on Twitch, she was the one that helped me out the most, as well as my friend Kaylee. I've got so many wonderful friends that I had met through Twitch, but unfortunately I had stopped. But yeah, anyway, before I'm getting carried away and talking too much about that, let's get back to the builds. I decided to kind of create my own somewhat altar for each room because I wanted there to be like, I don't know, I wanted it to take up space and also make an interesting background, which I am hoping that I achieved. But I kind of wanted to go for things that represented each of the elements. And I know that incense, and especially that incense holder, is not really period appropriate, but I thought it kind of worked well with it for the simple fact that, instance does represent air, at least within the pagan faith, which I'm pretty familiar with. But yeah, and again, these crystals helped out so much. It allowed me to at least bring in a little bit more light into it, so by hiding those lanterns inside of it. Not only that, but it kind of, gave the room a lot more of an interesting shape. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that it would kind of show through the other walls, but I quickly remedied that with my favorite stone piece. I don't know what it is about this rock object, but I absolutely love it. I always use it, and I really need to learn the build and buy catalog a lot more because yeah, it just I really need to like completely look and see like what selection I have. But yeah. Anyway, next I'm working on the room that represents fire. Honestly, I think this one is one of the cooler rooms, but that might just be me. I mean, honestly, my favorite room is probably Earth. And anyway, honestly, I wanted to, make each of the altars different. Like I wanted them to look different, but at the same time not take up too much space because after all, the main attraction is supposed to be the spirit that's in the room itself. And yes, each of those spirits are Sims. But I love all the lighting in this. I decided to play around with, other things. I even made my own little, fire bowl braziers. That's the word I was looking for. But and of course candles. I'm pretty sure that candles weren't actually a thing back in the prehistoric era. I highly doubt it. Highly, highly, highly doubt it. But I thought it brought in a little bit more light into this room, so I decided to keep it there. And because again, I'm not going for historical accuracy. I'm definitely wanting to do a more fantastical version of history. And of course, I can't really do that without adding, magical elements such as spirits representing each of the four elements, as well as, candles just for aesthetic purposes. Because, I mean, in a way, it kind of is for aesthetic purposes, because, I mean, well, I can't even say that because it's also for lighting purposes. But you get what I mean. Okay, yeah. That's how it should have been said. Sorry, I don't know what it is. I just can't talk today. But yeah, and now I'm working on the water room. Honestly, this one was a really pretty room. It's probably not my favorite, but I still am pretty happy with it. I mean, it serves its purpose. It's not terrible, nor is it, the best thing in the world. But, it served its purpose. And I don't know if I added enough like ice themed stuff to it. I mean, I tried to add a little bit of ice. That's why I have all those other crystals there, because I wanted to add, a hint of ice so that way, you can see it's both water and ice. Again, I owe so much to these crystals because these crystals have helped out so much, especially with hiding these smaller lanterns, because they really add a lot of lighting to it. And of course, the colored lighting makes it so much better. And I love this hologram fish. I love these hologram fishes. I mean, I was thinking about whether or not to put them in there or not because, I was like, okay, they are holograms. It's very much out of place. But what if, I mean, but they kind of look like fish actually made of water as well, especially within, the context of it being, a room based around the element of water. Now for the Earth room, like I said, this one I think is probably one of my favorites, if I'm honest. I think it looks the coolest, but let you guys tell me which one's your favorite. I mean, personally, I think this one is the prettiest, especially with the spirit. Unfortunately, I do not have a cast video for the spirits. I wish I would have kept them there. I might do a small little. Actually, you know what? That's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of a cast video at the end and kind of give you a closer look at each of the spirits. I mean, it's not going to show you like the process of me making them or anything, unfortunately, but it'll at least give you a closer look of them because I really am proud of how they came out. Plus, it'll probably be the only other time you'll be able to see these guys, at least for this generation. They might make a return to future generations, but I haven't quite decided on that yet. But yeah, I did. But back to this, the Earth Room. Honestly, I added so many different plants. I should have added a few more rocks to it because I mean, Earth is both nature and stone. At least that's what I see it as. So I definitely should have added a bit more rocks to it. But I still think it looks really, really cool. The most stone I really have in here, other than what the walls are made of, is the arch. Everything else is more like plants and all that. But yeah, and I almost didn't add the planter, but I needed something in order for Dran to be able to learn farming and all that. And but yeah, now I'm focusing more on like the main area. I wanted to add some vines and everything because I think it adds a little something because it was starting to look a little too plain in my eyes, which I guess is to be expected from a room that's built to look like a cave, especially whenever I can't really do too much like add bumps to the walls or add like rocks to the walls. Now, this was the part that I was also struggling with over here was all the meshes and everything kind of taking me like showing through the top. So I tried to disguise it as best as I could. I decided to work on the shelter first, which is basically using the same technique I did for, Dran's home. I didn't want it to look too similar, but I had a feeling it was just going to look that way no matter what. But afterwards, I decided to go in with these patches of greenery as well as some other plants just to kind of hide that because I didn't want it to be too obvious. I know it was a bit overkill, but I think it looks great now, especially now that you can't really see all that other random crap behind it. I think I hit him pretty well if I'm honest. But yeah, that was the builds. I hope you guys really liked it. Let me know which room is your favorite. Like I said, mine is probably the Earth room because I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I'll go ahead and start doing intros for the spirits. All right, so we're gonna start with the spirit of fire first, since he's the first one that Dran actually speaks to. Um, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't really, you know, give the spirit of fire or air that much, accessories or whatever. I mean, I could have done a lot more, but at this point, it's neither here nor there because I kind of already finished that part of the episode. So, at this point, it's just, you know, unimportant, I guess. But yeah, I think he's all right looking. I mean, I don't think he's the hottest, but like, you know, I think he looks pretty good. I decided to give him very fiery traits like hot headed, hot, literally, and romantic. I figured those kind of suited the element of fire perfectly because, I mean, fire is not just the element of destruction, it's also the element of creation and passion. So, yeah. So next we're going to move on to water spirits. She's honestly super pretty. I love the little headpiece that she has. I don't know if anybody else noticed the detail, but I did give her like finned ears, which is really cute. Honestly, I think the female spirits definitely are the better ones in this round, to be honest. But she's honestly really cute. I do like the outfit. It definitely kind of reminds me of Trizzy's outfit, but I still think it suits her very well. Again, following the trend with the fire spirit, I decided to go with very watery kind of vibes. So she's going to be very emotional. She's a child of the ocean and she loves the outdoors. I figured those were pretty good for a water themed character because, water is the element of emotion. And then we have the twin spirit of ice. Which, I mean, I'm not too big of a fan of the dress, not gonna lie, but I figured it did kind of suit her. I think it looks really, really good. I definitely went for a more cold theme with her personality. She's a loner, stoic, and cold blooded. I figured, that was practically perfect for her. I do like the crown that I used for her. It makes me even more upset that I didn't give a crown to the boys, but, kind of too late to do anything about it now. And then we've got the Earth Spirit, who is honestly, personally, she's the prettiest in my opinion. Like she is gorgeous. Especially, I love the hair. I love the tiara thing with the antlers. Her traits are child of the nature. I thought it would have just been child of nature, but I'm not the one who makes the traits. She's got the horticulturist trait as well as the nurturing trait. Because, Earth typically represents, strength, nurturing. It's basically, Earth is kind of equivalent to life in some way. I mean, I guess you could argue that, all four of the elements, or in this case five, are kind of the building blocks of life, but again, it's neither here nor there. And then lastly, we have the air spirit. Air is typically the element of communication and travel. So, as well as, imagination. So he's got the daydreamer traits. He's going to be very charismatic and worldly. Um, I figured that I still might as well go ahead and show this video because, they will make a reappearance in Generation 2 and I figured they will probably get a makeover. Actually, I probably might give them a makeover right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and give them a quick makeover real quick, and I'll go ahead and show you what I've got afterwards. Alrighty, and now we've got an updated version of our fire spirits, which I think looks a lot better. I decided to go with the black arms to kind of make it look like soot, whereas if part of his skin is, kind of charred, I guess. I did go with the spikes to kind of represent honestly, the first thing I thought about was Groudon from Pokemon, his signature move. Like that's the first thing that I thought of, to be honest. I definitely wanted to give him a more demon-esque type of style, so which is why I kind of went with the, demon wings, the horns, and all that other fun stuff. Whereas the air spirit is kind of in the opposite direction, where he went very angelic, and the feathery wings and such. I'm pretty sure this is from an anime. I just don't know what anime it's from. But either way, I think they look a lot better now already. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, y'all. I hope to see y'all in the next video. I promise this time, next video will be about Scala and Jekka, and I actually have some pretty good plans in mind for that video. I'll probably post it a bit later today if everything goes according to plan, just because, you know, I do feel bad for not posting as often as I probably should, but, you know, what can you do? But, yeah, hopefully I will see you guys around. Have a good one. Love you all. Bye.